we can really improve your IELTS listening performance. How? Let me explain it to you. The first thing that candidates experience to be difficult is the accent, because that's a foreign accent and we are not trained on it. If you have limited understanding of the accent, you stay under pressure. To relieve my candidates of this pressure, I put them to accent training practices. These are simple practices which I put on my website. When my candidates go through 4 or 5 practices of accent training, they develop a sort of facility in understanding that accent, and that gives them a lot of leverage when they are there in the examination. Once they're good at understanding of the accent, I give my students techniques to reduce the amount of text that they have to read while they listen to the audio, because it's sort of multitasking while listening to a foreign accent and reading something on the computer and trying to make a match between them. What I do, I train them how to reduce that text on the screen so that when they listen to the audio, they don't have to read that much, and it improves their performance in some of the question types. But there are other question types which cannot be solved this way because the text is so much and it is spread this way, or it is arranged this way. The format of those questions require a lot of processing while listening to the audio, so it's all confusing. But I've developed a hack for these type of questions as well. I'm talking about the questions like MCQs in section 3. They are quite long and you have to listen to the audio while reading around 35 words for one question, which is quite overwhelming. And also when you try to solve map labeling questions or matching information questions in section 2 of listening, you have to read a lot of text, number of times, in order to find the right answer while listening to the audio. That's a really hell of a task. I save my candidates of all of this hassle. I train them how to make short notes of the audio, because audio is something that will just go away, but the text is there. So I train my candidates to make notes of the key information from the audio that can be used to solve those questions which require a lot of multitasking. And we solve those questions later when we get a lot of gaps. You know, in IELTS listening, there are a lot of gaps and pauses which we use to our favor. I'm talking about the gaps which are there between sometimes sections and also between the sets. Like, you might remember the voice when they say, now you have some time to look at questions 11 to 20. They can say, this is the end of section 1. Now you have 30 seconds to check your answers. So we don't check our answers, rather we use that time to understand text of the next questions so that we can shorten them to make it quite doable when the audio plays. So let me recap. We do accent training to make your understanding of the accent better. Second, we train our candidates to use all the pauses and gaps in audio in our favor so that we may process the text better. Third, we make smart notes from audio to note down key information so that we may solve such questions which require a lot of multitasking, and we solve these questions whenever we get other gaps. Like at the end of listening test, we get 2 minutes extra. That's a lot of time to solve these questions. So this is how you can solve all the 40 questions in IELTS listening and get straight 9 bands if you ever require.